Hi everybody, I'm Kelly Phones. I'm an educator here at Montavilla Sewing Centers, located in Portland, Oregon. Today we're going to be working with the Janome Continental M7, one of my very favorite machines. And this video is going to cover the AcuFeed system that is available on this machine and the feet that come with it. Another video will showcase all of the optional feet and accessories you can get to use with your AcuFeed system. So to get started on the AcuFeed, you have to decide how you want to use it. The AcuFeed system on this machine has a separate motor, so you can use it. We've selected our straight stitch, and you tap this button to turn it on. You're always going to get this message that says, please make sure the proper foot holder is attached. And when they're talking about that, they're referring to this AcuFeed foot. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how to attach this properly. So we're going to close out that message. It is a reminder because it is very important, or you're not going to have your dual feed system working. Now, when you power on your dual feed system, you can only do a straight stitch. That's because this is designed to move fabric through the machine, straight through the machine. So you're not going to be able to do zigzags and decorative stitches and things with it. You're just wanting to power it through. So if you're quilting, stitching in the ditch, something like that, this is brilliant. Putting on binding is brilliant with this. So you can access instructions on attaching the dual feed holder here. You just tap your question mark, go to that, and step through all of these pages. So this is a handy reminder of how to install your AcuFeed foot. Not just this one, there are 3 different options for AcuFeed ankles. Wanted to point out this step to everybody, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Make sure you drop your needle before you do that final tightening. This syncs your upper feed dogs that are on the AcuFeed foot with the feed dogs in the machine. This will help you avoid skipping stitches when you're doing your AcuFeed work. So, to install that foot, or this new ankle, you want to take off your ankle with your regular foot on it. Now, I highly recommend leaving a foot on your ankle when you remove it from your machine. The ankle itself is a tiny little flat silver thing. If I leave my foot on it, I can usually find it again. If I just have the ankle loose, they disappear on me. They slide under machines, they slide off the table. Minute I go buy a new one, I find the old one. Now, this foot has a hook on the back, and you have an opening right level with your needle bar here. So you're going to hook that into this opening on the back of the machine. The first thing you want to do before we even get that far is to lock the machine. Now, you're not going to take your needle plate off, so you don't need to hit that button, but you do want to go ahead and use your manual lift and raise that foot up. So here you have this opening, and you're going to slide it right on to your screw here. So I'm going to loosen that up. You want it almost falling off. It's not a big deal if you take it all the way off. You can just put it right back on. Oops, mine fell off. Now you get to see, and I wish I could say that's not the first time. I wish I could say that was the first time I'd done that, but it really isn't. So you just want to make sure it's tight enough not to fall off. But you do need quite a bit of room for that. So when I get this on this far, I'm going to go ahead and hook it on. And I'm going to tighten it down just finger tight. Now at this point, you want to go ahead and drop the foot. And now is when you want to use your hand wheel and you want to drop that needle all the way down into the machine. Then you're going to take your screwdriver and you're going to go ahead and tighten that down. Now, if you go through all these steps, everything will be correctly aligned. You can unlock your machine. You're going to get a message that says raise the needle bar slowly. What that's telling you to do is not use your needle up down button. You don't want to use that. You want to go ahead and finish the rotation with your hand wheel. And raise your button, raise your needle all the way up, and then unlock your machine. And now you've got the whole system set up. Doesn't matter which of these AcuFeed ankles you use. The machine also comes with the HP2 ankle that you use with your HP plate or your high performance plate. You put this on exactly the same way, but you do have to change to this needle plate which says HP. Now when I've done this, I go ahead and I drop my needle and I bring it back up just to make sure I'm starting in the spot that I want. And shouldn't come unthreaded, but you can rethread if you want to. So with it set up this direction, you can go ahead and just sew to your heart's content. It also sews a lot faster with this system on. Now, that's one way you use this, the AcuFeed system on this machine. The second way, we're going to actually turn it off right here, and this will allow me to do any stitch on the machine. I'm going to keep the same foot on because I have full needle clearance on this foot. I'm going to go into the settings. Go to your sewing settings. Oh, sorry, I am in the wrong spot. I'm thinking settings. I want to be in the button above it, this round button with the parallel lines, because they actually made it easier than I usually think it is. So it's manual dual feed setting, and then you have an adjusting the dual feed balance right here. So you want to make sure you have that turned on. Now with that turned on, hit OK. This will allow you to give you a lot more options of which stitches you use. One of my favorite stitches for quilting is this Serpentine Stitch. So I use this, I have my machine set up the same way I have right here with this big foot on. And this allows me to go ahead and sew that Serpentine stitch. And that's probably one that I use for quilting a lot. It does a really nice job going right across the seam. So often I'm using the optional stitch in the ditch foot, and I'm doing that right across the seam. I like using the AcuFeed system both ways, and anything I customize, I can go ahead and save as a favorite stitch, which you can find more information on in another video. Now, if I go in here and I turn this off, and we're going to go back. We can use this one. I'm going to turn this back on for a moment. One of the reasons you want to use a dual feed system or a walking foot is so that your top layer of fabric and your bottom layer, all of your layers of fabric, feed at the same time. So if you are having problems with like the top layer puckering, this is your adjustment right here for your AcuFeed system. And what this does is it has the machine, it changes the balance between the upper feed dogs and the lower feed dogs so that your fabric won't pucker or it won't stretch on the top, or if you're having problems on the bottom, you would increase it. Any of these settings here that you change, you can also save as a favorite stitch. So this is a really powerful tool where you can really customize anything on it. I use the favorite stitch stuff with the dual feed AcuFeed system a lot because I don't like to have to remember what I've done and reprogram everything every time I turn the machine on. So if you are using the full dual feed system, it is limited just to straight stitches. And remember, you come in here, turn it on. Your adjustment button is in this section if you are using it manually. Either way works wonderfully. It's a terrific system. I hope this has given you a good understanding of how to get the most benefit from your AcuFeed system on your M7. If you have any questions, go ahead and give me a call at our Beaverton store. Happy sewing, everybody. I'm going to keep working.